How's it going today, folks? I'm Braap and welcome back to the Braap Shack. Today we are going to take a look at a 1997 Arctic Cat JAG 440Z fan cool. There she is. A customer asked me to go and grab this machine out of his yard. It has a couple issues. The first and least pressing issue would be its hairdo. It's got no windshield on it. Second issue is these gauges don't work. I was told that this machine, the hood had been smashed off by some hooligans with hammers or baseball bats or something. They smashed the hood. He got another one, and the plugs, that one and that one, don't line up to the harness. So that might be a bit of an issue. But like I said, this is a 1997 Z440 JAG, fan cooled. I remember these things when I was younger. At the time they were the shit. Fast track. Ooh, look at that. That's old. Northern Metallic Recreation. Yeah, fast track long travel system. This was like the granddaddy to the Snow Pro sleds. Because they also made, I believe it was a ZL 440, which was a liquid cooled. But yeah, I love these old machines. Simpler time, you know, you pop the hood and holy fuck, there's everything. Now you gotta disassemble the whole front half of most machines just to get a glimpse at the motor. But so there's that issue, the wiring, the windshield, and apparently if you put fuel in it and you crank on it, that carburetor right there starts pissing fucking gasoline out of itself. So I'm gonna take these carbs off and I'll give them a cleaning and a going through. Probably just, you know, poorly assembled, or the floats are sticking or something. We got a fuel shut off, little fuel filter and a pump going out two directions to the carburetors. Simple enough. There's the overflow, there's the other overflow. Loop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Look at that. I don't know if you're seeing that, but that idle screw is bottomed right out. So is that other side right there. The spring is completely collapsed. It's just bottomed out. So a little bit to do on this. You know, this is one of those ones that, other than the windshield, it's not really going to require any parts. Just a little bit of time. Most of these old sleds were like that. A little bit of time and love and they're fucking ready to go. But I just yarded her in here. Everything's still cold and dripping and wet, so we're gonna leave it alone for, you know, a little bit, let it thaw out, and I'll flip the camera back on probably when I get started. But I mean, look at that. Oh, look at that sexy little thing. Got the 6-pack. One weird looking little headlight though. Yeah. Till I get started. Have a gooder. Well, here we are. We're gonna clean the carbs on this guy. I was just doing a little bit of well, just fixing up the wiring like requested by the owner, and then I found something that made me question the spark, so I pulled the plugs and checked the spark. And then I figured I'd flip on the camera. So let's get these carbs yarded off. Nothing real special. So pop the top off of these guys. Look at this. This is funny. I'll point this out in a moment. That was another thing I noticed was the owner of this machine. He asked me how much oil was in the tank, and I looked and it's bone dry, and he said, well, I'll get you a quart of oil for it. And he brought me a quart of oil, and I was just looking, and the oil line had just been cut. Right here is the cable for the oil pump, and it had been cut along with the oil line. So this machine has been converted to mixed gas, and the owner didn't even know about it. So that's kind of, you know, I'll have to let him know about that. Yeah, this machine's been cobbled a little bit. There's another funny thing here I'm going to point out in a second, as soon as I get some of this junk out of the way. But here is the short cable, and it's stretched way over to the other side, and here's the long one. It's got tons of friggin' slack in it. That's kind of funny to me. I don't know, maybe not to everybody, but I find that sort of thing kind of funny. I think we'll probably put those choke cables on, you know, short one to the short side and long one to the long side, maybe. We'll put her back together. We'll see. Unless they actually turn out to be the same length, which would be weird, but sometimes, you know, cheap aftermarket stuff or what have you, sometimes you end up with weird things like that. Well, don't want to break that. See, one of the complaints was the owner said when you try and start this machine, this carburetor was just pissing out gasoline. When I took out spark plugs, this cylinder had no gasoline on the brand new plugs. The other one did. And now, come to find that the choke is completely just stuck in there. So, yeah, I suppose it'll have to stay like that for the time being. Yeah, let's get this guy out of here, I guess. There we go. Now that that's loose, we'll undo the boot, manifold, intake, whatever the fuck you feel like calling it. Maybe we should even disconnect the gasoline. There's none in there, but I mean, it couldn't hurt to disconnect the line, right? Which also seems rather short, kind of like the choke cable. Oh good, let's take a look at these guys. So what I'm going to do to start off with is this is the seized one. I'm going to take some penetrating oil. I'm going to squirt it down into this choke cylinder and set that one off to the side, and we'll take a look at the one that wasn't seized. And then hopefully that'll give this penetrating oil some time. Lots of water in there. See all the little water bubbles? I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but trust me, lots of water bubbles. Okay, I'm gonna go blow this out with compressed air, and then I'll be right back. What are these air fuel set at? Half, one, and a quarter. Quarter, and a quarter. Put it back where it was. Half, one turn out. Half, one and a half, two. We'll go two. Okay, so let's take a look at this see if it's freed up, or if it wants to be freed up, or what. Oh, there we go. So yeah, that's looking not super bad. I mean, just a little bit of scale on it. So there. Now let's get this fucking thing apart. Oh no. This gasket didn't survive. That's a shame. Might have to throw a little drop of fuel safe silicone on there or something. I don't know. fuck. Or I suppose I could make another gasket. I don't want to make another fucking gasket. Oh, we'll see. We will see. Yeah, that's the shitty part about, you know, sometimes not, people sometimes don't want to spend money on buying the carb kit because, you know, most people know that those carb kits are 90% of the time you don't need a carb kit. Everything that's within your carburetor is usually still good. Usually dirty, gummy, scaly sometimes, but a good cleaning is the same thing as a carb kit most of the time. There are, you know, times where a carb kit is actually needed, but not usually. So back to the sled. Let's get these puppies back in there. Oh, I don't know how I had this camera, but let's try and figure it out. Okay, folks, I gotta go and grab some gas, turn the camera back on in a little bit. Okay, got some fuel in her, some nice mixed gas, key, full choke. She should go. Just like that. Loyal as fuck old Articat. Holy, we even got lights. Well, that was too fucking easy. Let's put a belt on. Well, that was just too goddamn easy, you know, those old Articats, they just want to go. You know, that one there, fucking, the sediment hose on the bottom of the fuel bowl was gone. So, the fuel bowl ain't gonna hold no goddamn fuel that way. The choke was fucking frozen. Other than that, a little bit of adjusting here and there, and that fucking thing was ready to go. But, until next time, have a gooder, folks.